today to speak of my journey with cancer. But in fact, my involvement with cancer started in 1997 rather than the 6 years ago that my journey started. In 1997, my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer at a fairly young age. And because of that, for the years following, I went for a mammogram every year. Not a fun experience. However, we are lucky enough in this community to have the breast screening clinic, and I've been going there for several years. And in preparing for this morning, I actually went and pulled out my old day timer. Does anybody remember when we actually used paper day timers? And when I opened it up this morning, what fell out but my last letter from the breast screening clinic, dated March the 10th, 2006, advising me that I had to go and make my appointment for that year's mammogram. So I booked the appointment. It was March the 29th, and everything was going as usual until I had the examination by the nurse there. And I apologize, but I don't remember her name. She's a wonderful woman with a Scottish accent. And she said, "Do you mind terribly if I have my student nurse come in and meet you?" And that was when I sort of went, Why? "Oh, it's just, she's going to be starting doing this kind of work." And I thought, That was my first indicator that maybe this wasn't as routine as the previous years had been, the previous 9 years. And at the end of the examination, I was told, as I'd been told for 9 years previous, well, you might get another call if there's anything irregular, and you might have to go for an ultrasound. So when the letter came that said I had to go for an ultrasound, I wasn't surprised. I kind of been waiting my turn. So I went for my ultrasound, and the technician, I don't forget her name, Rose Simpson. She's an absolutely marvelous woman. And the radiologist was called in to see this mass that was on the ultrasound. And it was when the radiologist said to me, "You know, we need to do a biopsy. We could do it today, or you could book another appointment." It was when he said, "We could do it today." When a doctor suggests that an appointment is going to be longer than usual, you know something's serious. So really, I knew from that day on April the 11th that I had cancer. But on Easter Monday, on April the 18th, my GP phoned me at home, my day off, and said, could I come in that afternoon to see him? I live in Mattawa. He's in North Bay. I don't get a lot of days off. I said, you know what, I'm a big girl, and I know what you're going to tell me, and I don't need to waste gas, and I don't need to waste my time to come in. So would you please just tell me, do I have cancer? Yes, you do. But I need you to come in. So I went in to see him on the Wednesday, and then became my journey with cancer. And let me tell you, the first parts of the journey were pretty fast. We have a wonderful healthcare system. But one of the first things I did was get in contact with the Canadian Cancer Society and the wonderful information that is provided free of charge. They mailed me all kinds of pamphlets about absolutely every question that I might have had was answered in those pamphlets. And subsequently, I had surgery on April the 28th. And technically, that's when you begin to be a survivor, when the cancer is taken out of you. So that's my survivor anniversary, April the 28th, 2006. And I was told that I would probably have to go for radiation, so I was referred to the cancer center in Sudbury, which is just running with people in yellow smocks from the Canadian Cancer Society. And the minute you walk in, you have even the look of puzzle on your face. And one of those volunteers takes you in hand and takes you to where you need to go. I made the mistake that day of going alone. And I was told that day that my cancer was much more aggressive than they initially had thought. And so I was going to have to probably have chemotherapy. It's all my choice. It's all the patient's choice. You get to choose whether you're going to have chemo, you get to choose whether you're going to have radiation, you get to choose whether or not you're going to have the cancer removed from you. And so I chose to have chemotherapy. That wasn't a fun part of the journey, let me tell you. So I spent that summer going through chemotherapy. And then in the fall, and I had that done here in North Bay. We're fortunate enough to have facilities that to be done here in North Bay. But in the fall, on October the 4th, on my sister's birthday, I started my radiation treatment in Sudbury. And let me tell you, the combination of the after effects of chemotherapy and radiation sickness hit you with a fatigue that you have no idea what has hit you. And I know what fatigue is because I've got 4 kids. And afterwards, that fatigue stays with you for a long, long time. But I get bored really easily. So against my doctor's advice, I returned to work in April of 2007. And I have to tell you that for all the despair that I was feeling in the fall, finishing my chemotherapy and starting my radiation, my office manager had the hope that I was coming back to work. Because what was waiting for me on my desk when I showed up was a fresh, clean day timer. And so that, I hope, is an illustration to you that despite the despair and the difficulties of going through a journey of cancer, we can't lose sight of that hope. And that's why we relay every year. And I just want to give one added thing about the Canadian Cancer Society. Last year, the relay was June the 3rd. And on June the 4th, there was an announcement made by the Canadian Cancer Society of a drug that the market name is Arimasan. It's Extremasane or something, I don't know, all those funny names. About this wonderful new drug that was on the market. And I have to tell you that my sister is still alive today. And I credit that drug, although her oncologist credits somebody much more powerful. She's been told that she should have been gone many, many years ago. And 2 years ago, she was told to get her affairs in order. And then they started her on a clinical trial of this drug. And she's planning a trip to England this summer. Thank you very much.